And welcome to MSTV. I'm your host, Joe Pietaro. We have coming up for you in just a moment Jea Jung from the Super League. We sat down and talked with him once again. We had a great time out there at Olympia weekend with him at the Super League launch party in Las Vegas. And we're going to be doing a lot more with Jay in the Super League. As a matter of fact, Jea Jung has joined us as a columnist, starting with the full issue you can get right now if you go to musclesportmag.com/subscribe. $32 a year with free shipping in the United States. And also coming up a little later in this episode, the Nose Knows. Pete, the artist, thank you once again, drew this cover, drew the muscle marks in the full issue, and came up with that idea for the Nose Knows. Thank you so much, Pete. We like to make fun of ourselves here at Muscle Sport LLC, and it's pretty fucking easy with me with the schnoz. So we go with that and have a few laughs with that. But also, we're going to have some cool stuff coming up again later this month. But let's get right into that Jay interview right now with Jea Jung from the Super League. Welcome in via Skype right now from Las Vegas, Nevada, Jea Jung of the Super League. Jay, what's going on, man?
Hey, Joe. How you doing? Good to see you again.
Absolutely. Last time I saw you was during Olympia weekend, and you had Super League 2. And we were down there and doing a lot of interviews with yourself and a lot of the different people involved, athletes and otherwise. And I want to thank you again for your hospitality. It was wonderful. And it was a really cool experience as a guy who I can still consider myself a sports writer, even though I cover bodybuilding more than sports now.
Yeah.
Your event is a sport. And that, to me, is it's bringing body. And it's different than powerlifting because these guys look like athletes. Powerlifters are just big guys. These guys are like bodybuilders doing a power type of moves, and there's the whole, obviously a lot of things involved in it. But what was your reaction that you got since we seen each other last from Super League 2?
The reaction from Super League 2, man, a lot's happened actually since I saw you, Joe. We had a great event. The turnout was incredible. The athletes, the media, the fans, and then, the aftermath of it has been nothing short of incredible, actually. We've had so many people reaching out to us, but now it's actually expanding even further. Now it's not about, okay, this other athlete or these other sponsors are reaching out to us. Now it's other people from other sports. Now it's people from other genres, it's really been interesting. We just landed GSP to be part of Super League 3 in Montreal coming up.
Huge addition.
Yeah, huge. Less than 6 weeks coming up. It's actually Thanksgiving weekend. Not Thanksgiving for the Canadians, but Thanksgiving weekend for us. So we're going to fly up there. We're going to put on a huge production. We've got an incredible lineup of athletes, athletes from all over Canada. So this is our Canadian qualifier. So this is the Canadian Nationals that we're putting on. So we have athletes coming from all the way from Vancouver. Of course, we have some locals in Montreal. And there's actually 2 gyms in Montreal that are going to do a gym war. But the purpose of this trip and this event is to continue building on what we've already done. So have our third main event to fine tune and still fine tune. Well, we're still very young. We're still learning as we go. I'm the first to admit that. And there are some things that based on athlete feedback, fan feedback, we've tried to adjust and improve. For the athletes. And so, that's really it right now is just, I guess making those adjustments as needed, but also discovering some new opportunities as they're presenting themselves.
And one of those adjustments is that you changed one of the events that are going on as one of the movements, if you will. So you tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So we actually took out leg extensions. And the reason we did is because a lot of athletes felt, well, it's really not a good, gauge of overall strength. It's a single joint movement that, of course, we all do it. But is it one of the 8 movements that you'd pick if you were on an island and you had to just do 8 movements for the rest of your life? Probably not, right? That's one. And then 2, there's the safety factor. Doing leg extensions to the max is probably not, something that represents what we're about, which is, what is the most efficient way to build muscle? What's the best return on your risk? So when it comes to that, I think leg extensions, to the maximum effort, probably not one of the best movements. So we took that out. What we added in was not a lower body movement. We actually, we actually added an upper body movement in, which is suicide rows, which is basically a dumbbell incline row, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Okay.
And we also changed deadlifts to the end. We put deadlifts at the end, and we're going to do it old school, barbell deadlifts off the ground.
Nice.
We had that. You remember the deadlift machine that we had?
Yes.
Yeah. So we took that out, and we had we got a lot of powerlifters. A lot of world-class powerlifters, a lot of Olympic lifters, a lot of CrossFitters, and there was kind of an outcry for some old school movements. So we put in deadlifts at the end.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with deads, man. I mean, that's like an old school favorite, like you said. Guys have been doing them forever, and they're going to continue doing them forever. So
exactly.
That's a pretty cool trade, if you will, the way you change those things. I mean, and deads it's a full body movement. It's it
is.
Yeah, so that's a great thing too. So I definitely like that option, different than the machine. Now going back to GSP. Now, for anybody that's not familiar with that, where have you been hiding for the past 10 years? But GSP is obviously George St. Pierre, UFC star. I actually had the opportunity to interview him one time, one-on-one, for a feature article years ago when I worked for Muscular Development. And
awesome.
He was great guy to speak to. He's very knowledgeable, obviously. So now, is he going to be doing the event itself? He's going to be competing?
No, he's just making an appearance, but that's
okay.
That's the thing. We have athletes coming from all over to compete, but we also have athletes coming from all over to support, and they're equally helpful to us, and it's equally powerful to us in terms of validating that we are on the path to being a real sport.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's the thing. We love the competitors and the action that we get and the battles that happen in the arena.
Yeah.
But what's even more impressive to me is that we are reaching outside our subculture. That's the point of it, is to expand fitness into these other mainstream sports like MMA and CrossFit. We're getting some support on that side too. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting to me that we are successfully now bridging the fitness world with mainstream sports. That's kind of the point of it.
I mean, music to my ears, obviously, what I, said before, I'm a sports writer, and I was for many years before I started covering bodybuilding. I think it's a great idea, and we'll talk off camera. I might be able to send you some recommendations, some guys that might be interested. I'm friendly with some retired NFL players. I'm sure active ones will not be able to do this type of thing contractually. Yeah. But I am, I still keep in touch with some of my contacts from my old days being a sports writer, and I have one guy in mind that I think might be interested because he's amazing. He's got an amazing physique, this guy from the NFL, and he loves training. He loves doing all different type of training methods. So this guy, and he's incredible online too. He's huge online, viral. So
it's interesting you bring that up, Joe, because one of our top guys, Teron Beckham, Teron never had a chance to really fulfill his potential as a football player. Mm-hmm. He's in his early 20s. He got invited to do the combine, and he smashed every record in the combine. Mm-hmm. But the reason he didn't get drafted, and by the way, it's Odell's cousin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he's a freak athlete, but the reason he's not playing for a team and he's not a rock star in the NFL is because I don't think he had much, or if any, of a college football career.
Okay.
But here's a kid, and this is a great example. This is a sports writer. How many incredible athletes are out there where their careers are done in their early 20s?
Tons of them. Too many of them.
Too many, right?
Yes.
You see these freak athletes that for whatever reason, and it could be a timing thing, and it could be a health thing, it could be a maturity thing. As athletes, men really don't hit their peak until their late 20s, maybe early 30s. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, applies to a lot of sports. But you get these kids that are straight out of college, and you put them in a combine, and 1% makes it to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And you have 99% of these, incredible athletes that really, they don't really have a path to express their athleticism. But I mean, how many football players are out there that have great physiques, that are crazy strong, and now they're just, now they're kind of, in athletic nomads, and they're an athletic refugee. They have no home, and so we're getting a lot of football players that even if they did get drafted, what's the average career? What, 3 years? So
3 to 5 years, pretty much. Yeah, that's it.
So the average football player retires at the age of 26.
Yes.
So I mean, that's still pretty young.
Yeah.
So I'd love to talk to you about that off camera because there's so many athletes out there that are just looking for a place to show their athletic abilities.
Yeah, and there really is no alternative to the NFL, if you will. I mean, Arena League, you can go overseas to play, Canadian Football League, but a lot of guys don't like to go to those other styles they're a little different. Some of those size of field, on both ends, smaller and longer, with those two leagues respectively that I mentioned. But also I wanted to talk, another thing that we spoke about leading up to this interview was things about attributing with Rich Piana that your league has done, your company.
Yeah, so one of the main goals that we had for Super League 2 was to honor, a fallen warrior, Rich, who was a close friend of mine, close friend of yours. Happened so unexpectedly, and this is something we want to do quietly, but I'm glad I can share it with you. We wanted to make a donation in his name based on the success of Super League 2. Mm-hmm. So we had such a great turnout. We had Team USA versus Team Canada.
Yeah.
And, the commitment was the points that those two teams put on the board, I was going to match that in a donation in Rich's name. So we decided to actually donate to a youth camp. And the reason we picked a youth camp here in Las Vegas is because part of Rich's message, part of the reason that he was so transparent and honest about everything is it wasn't to get attention. It ended up being that way, but his main message was to educate and inform and to keep the younger people just informed so they could make a decision safely.
Yeah.
And so that's been the problem when we're kids, is that we're making decisions uninformed. We're making decisions based on what the other guys in the gym were doing without really knowing the risks and dangers were of things. So, you have to understand what are the pros and cons of any decision, especially drug use. That's a big one.
Sure.
And so, Rich really, and people don't realize this, but one of his missions was to educate the younger guys so they can make informed decisions
about gear. Sure. Yep.
About gear. Yeah. So, there's a youth camp here in Las Vegas, and they have like a really horrible weight room. They've got almost nothing, but they've got an incredible sports program. They're part of their mission is to have these kids be involved in sports, football, basketball, soccer, and of course, an integral part of playing sports is lifting weights.
Sure.
So they've got this, horrible weight room. So we are donating towards that weight room so they can build out a better facility so they can continue to, encourage youth to be involved in sports and give them every chance and every tool to excel in those sports. So that was our cause, and it was in Rich's honor. And it gives me a lot of pride to do that in his memory.
That is amazing, and then bravo and hats off to you for doing that. And that's just a great gesture because Rich, like you said, was friends with you, and he also was involved with the Super League. So to do something like that in his name and his honor, I think, especially for younger people, I think that's kudos. Great job on that, Jay.
Thank you.
And,
thanks.
Once that happens, please be sure to forward me any info. We'll plug it and do, whatever our part on that is, just promoting that so people will become aware of that. I know that wasn't your intention, but you should at least get people aware of what's going on and what Super League has to offer, not just, pushing weights around and stuff like that.
We're about community. It's about community. And like we talked about in the first interview, it's about giving back.
Yep. Definitely. And the site is superleague.live. That's also your Instagram account. So I implore everyone to go and follow them on Instagram and check out their site. They got some great videos up there, great information. Any other things that you want to plug, Jay?
Well, now we're actually launching our amateur league. So we have gyms all over the country and the world that are now putting Super League teams together. So if anyone wants to put a team together, you don't have to have the fancy equipment. You can be in any town, USA, any town on the planet Earth. And as long as you have one athlete per weight class, so that's 8 athletes, from angel weight up to super heavy, anyone can compete in Super League, and we can do it virtually now. So we have a tech back end that allows you to actually record yourself, submit your scores, and then be on our app, and then actually become part of the world ranking system. So that's the next thing that we're launching. It's still kind of beta right now, but I want to go ahead and introduce it to the world through your channel. That we are launching an amateur league that allows people to eventually work their way up to getting to Vegas and being under the big lights and the cameras and the big production. And if someone does make it to Vegas, then it's not only a chance to turn pro, but it's also a chance to kind of immortalize yourself in a highlight reel. I mean, that's one of the things that we're doing. So
that's fantastic. Good for you. So you can have almost like a farm system for Super League. That's great. And if anybody has not seen the clips from Super League, I urge you to do so. I mean, you mix with the production, almost like with the ramp and the smoke and the darkness and the way that the spotlights. I mean, I was standing in the middle. You gave me, it was better than box seats. I was in the middle of the action.
You're in the middle,
I was literally in the middle. I had to make sure I didn't bump into anybody because it's 8 stations in this circular form. And the coaches there screaming in the faces of the competitors, pumping them up to get them to get that last rep out. And it was a really cool experience as a journalist to watch this go on, because that's something that you don't get to see that often. You can watch a guy train and do the stupid blood and guts videos and stuff, but it was different because it was the competition part of it. And you hear somebody screaming louder, so now your attention gets... Okay, there's, Apollo was on this one, and then the other guy was on, and the women, they were doing great too. It's not just the men; it's actually, obviously, men and women involved. And they're
competing. The women are tougher than the guys sometimes.
Yeah, some of them were great. And they're competing at the same time. At the station next to Apollo was, a woman there from 5%. And Nina is also a friend of mine from 5%. She did really well. I think she's like 7th or 8th in the world. Yeah, Nina is great people. Nina Quads, Little Beast Nina. So I know her for a few years now, so I was glad to see her down there and getting involved in that competition. But we're going to keep our fans and our audience informed on what's going on with Super League. So we'll be plugging Super League 3 in November up in Canada. Jay, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on MSTV, and we'll talk to you shortly.
My pleasure. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
It is impossible. Never accept the limitations of someone else. Somebody told you that it's impossible. Don't even try. Give up before you even fucking try it for yourself. Never accept the goddamn limitations that someone else has placed.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Spangler, IFBB Pro Bikini and D4 athlete, and you are watching Muscle Sport TV.
Welcome once again to The Nose Knows. We can sniff him out, baby, with this fucking honker. Hey, posted a video, one of our MSM Sport Shots, not too long ago, talking about how the NFL will feel the crunch from this take a knee protest nonsense. Maybe not this year, but we predicted when the season ticket renewal forms go out for 2018 that many people will put them in the garbage. And the first salvo has been fired, proving that. Washington Redskins have sent out emails to their either, I don't believe the current, but past season ticket holders. So they're trying to get people back. Now, where I got this from was someone who was a season ticket holder last year, but not this current year. So I can only go by that. And judging by what it says, possibly the new ones, the new season ticket people are going to get it also, because that would just give them extra seats. And I'll explain. Great seats this season are yours. Free. it says in the email. Receive free tickets to all our remaining home games when you become a 2018 season ticket holder. That's half a season, mind you. NFL is 16 games, 8 at home, 8 on the road. 4 games left in the season when this email was sent out. So they're playing the Vikings, the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Broncos. Now, I have not followed this fucking piece of shit league since week 2 because of this protest. I'm boycotting it as a media outlet and as a fan. So I don't know how the Redskins are doing or how any of those teams are doing. Outside of the Giants, because I live in New York and I can't help but overhear things, and I know the Giants are playing very bad this year. But regardless, that's a divisional game, and it's a great rivalry, and that's not a game that most people will throw their tickets out for. The Redskins, I almost said Deadskins, and it's probably appropriate in this matter. They're so fucking desperate. I'm sure they're not the only team doing this. So desperate to get people to make sure they get the money for next year, because they don't give a fuck if you don't come to the game this year, because A, tickets are already fucking sold, and B, the NFL announces their attendance by tickets sold, not by actual attendance, not by turnstile, it's by tickets sold. So they can say there's 77,000 or whatever capacity sold before the fucking game even starts. The attendance today is whatever the capacity in each respective stadium around the league is. Now, I am going to just take a guess that there are tickets not sold for the Redskins because they are saying we're going to give you fucking freebies for this year. So there has to be seats somewhere. The problem with this is that people are not going to fall for that. They're not going to go, I'm fucking mad at the NFL, but this is too good to be true. Now, I did say in my other video that there are some people that won't eat the tickets and they'll still go. Now, if you do eat the tickets, you lose money, but you don't spend any extra money, and you're not giving them more money for parking and for beer and hot dogs and fucking programs and fucking banners and hats and all of this other souvenir shit. But it's hard to spend thousands of dollars and just throw them in the garbage. And I guess I can't piss in somebody's fucking cornflakes if they said, hey, listen, I'm boycotting the NFL, but I already spent this fucking money. So I'm not going to not go. I'm taking my kid. The kid doesn't know any difference. I'll give those people a pass because I don't know what I would do if I was in their shoes. But don't make the same mistake next year. They're not going to change unless that Jerry Jones coup I was talking about in the other MSM Sports Shot. If you haven't seen it, subscribe to Muscle Sport TV on YouTube. Every day you get good quality, free content. Not that shit you see elsewhere in this fucking godforsaken industry. I had said that if Jerry Jones can get Goodell out and possibly become interim commissioner, he will, day one, change this fucking thing where these guys will not be able to take a knee and get away with it. That's the only way 2018 is going to be saved. And you also have to remember another thing that happens in the NFL. If a home team does not sell out their home game, it is blacked out in their region on television. So they're trying to force people to go to the game. That's been going on since the 60s, I believe. It's nothing new. Because I think the Jaguars are one of the last teams that had a few blackouts because they were so bad over the past few years. They actually had some games blacked out in Jacksonville, Florida. But like Jets and Giants or me in New York, those tickets are sold before the season even starts. They're fucking all gone. So if there are teams that are going to have to black out, now you are talking ad revenue. We're talking television ads. It's becoming a monster, this NFL protest. The league is feeling the pinch. Papa John's is only the first fucking one to complain. You know there are others complaining. Maybe not publicly, but fucking marketing to marketing. Their marketing people are calling the NFL marketing people and going, guys, what the fuck? We got to get this figured out, or else you better fucking refund us part of that fucking ad money we spent already. Because we're not getting that same fucking audience that you promised us. And I heard, I don't know if it's true, that if a certain number isn't met for ratings, they have to give back all or part of the advertising money. So either way, the NFL is going to feel the pinch really fucking hard next year. You know the Super Bowl commercials. If they weren't sold earlier, now I remember was it the last couple of years they said that the price was going down because the ratings were down, and this is before this bullshit. Because I don't even think it was the ratings. I think it's just they were asking too much fucking money. It's like Flex and MD asking fucking 10 grand or more for a full page ad, one issue, right? No wonder why they don't fucking sell a lot of magazines. I charge $200. The NFL is going to have to do something. I'm not the only guy that's fucking not watching, trust me. But I'm the only media outlet that I am aware of that has taken a fucking stance against the league that I personally have covered since 05, before MSM was born in 08. And ever since then, I've been covering it for MSM, obviously, and other outlets that I work for. Something's got to be done. There was no way they can continue and allow this to fucking happen. The nose knows. Don't you ever forget it.
And you're watching Muscle Sport TV, the most jacked and tan show on the fucking internet.
It's Jay Cutler, four-time Mr. Olympia here. I want to send a big thank you to yourself and your company, Pumped Up Fitness Nutrition, for the support of Cutler Nutrition.
What's up, everyone? This is Rich Piano. I just want to let you guys know you can get all my supplements at Pumped Up Fitness Nutrition.
And Pumped Up Fitness Nutrition.
Pumped Up Fitness Nutrition. I will see you there.
God damn it.
Pumped Up Fitness Nutrition. The Hulk will be you.
Store's freaking awesome, man. Pumped Up Fitness and Nutrition.
God damn it.
Come here, get all your 5% needs. You know, everything's fully in stock at all times here. It's 100% in stock. This store is fucking awesome.
I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Where else? What's going on, everybody? That's right, it's your boy, the 7-foot, 330-pound, former WWE superstar, former TNA champion, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, former American Gladiator, the Beast. And I'm pretty positive that covers all my gimmick and pseudo names. But nonetheless, guys, you're tuning in right now to Muscle Sport TV, the realest of the real. No filler, no fluff, no cookie cutter crap. No, has to have a happy ending in order for us to produce this show. None of that mess. Instead, what you're about to tune into is shows that are going to make a lot of athletes nervous out there, a lot of athletes butthurt out there, and a lot of athletes really pissed off. But guess what? I don't give a shit. It's about to be a bumpy ride. I suggest you buckle up.
And once again, that's going to do it for us on our flagship program, MSTV, right here on the Muscle Sport TV network. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. We archive all the episodes on MuscleSportMag.com, also MuscleSportMedia.net. Same place that'll take you, but make sure you check us out here every day. Free, daily, quality content. Nobody else in this industry can come fucking close to that. They can't even fucking stumble over those same words. They have no fucking business even thinking about that. But later in this month, we are going to be joined by IFBB Bikini Pro Cheryl Spangler, who will be doing some cool videos with us later on down the road. And also, another episode this month of MSTV, Kevin Greck from evolutionofbodybuilding.net. He's over in Malta. So he's got a different perspective on this whole IFBB split. Great stuff coming up for you. We never sell you short right here at Muscle Sport LLC, and we'll see you next time.